today I'm going to be talking to you about college textbooks and why students say no to them because they're too expensive. Now, every single student here at this school and other schools have had some forms of issues with college, but I think all of us can come together and say that the number one issue that we all face is the high cost of textbooks. Now, as my audience, all of you have had some trouble with affording textbooks, as have I. Since if most of us get financial aid, if we have leftover money, I mean, those are the lucky students. They can use that leftover money for books. But for students who don't get any leftover money, they pay out of their own pockets, which kind of sucks for them. The thing is, even though I have leftover from financial aid, I consider myself lucky, but the classes that I have, they require textbooks that are $100+, and I can't buy them used because I have to use online programs and labs. So me buying used books is out of the picture. As a student, what goes behind the scenes of the textbook market, I have no idea. I don't know what their strategies are. I don't know how much it costs them to produce textbooks, but in my opinion, I think we're getting ripped off. And I think that the thing is, some of the classes that I'm taking now, I'm taking Political Science 150 during this quarter, and at the beginning, the teacher told us that we had to buy the required book. The problem is there are multiple books for that class, and my friend also had that class, but it's another day. He asked me if I wanted to borrow his book, so I asked the teacher, and it turns out there are multiple books for that one class, and the book that I had to buy was like $80+, and I was like, no. So right now I'm taking that class without the book. So far I got through my first midterm A-okay, but I don't know how the second midterm is going to go today. And yes, today. And then the problem is, textbooks are the number one necessity, I think, for students to succeed in class. Because without textbooks, how are you going to study at home? The teacher can't always give you a study guide. If the teacher doesn't give you a study guide, then how are you going to know the course material? And it's not like you can go live with your classmates and study with them every single day. The thing is, it puts pressure. It puts pressure on students to succeed. Because if they buy these books, these expensive books, I know it might sound dumb, but if they buy these expensive books, they're more likely to worry about how they're going to get through the class and what their grade is going to be than actually doing the work and stuff. Because they know if they fail, then if they have to buy that book brand new again, it's going to cost them a fortune. So then it puts more pressure on them to plan for buying the book than it does for them to focus on the class. Which brings me to it's right here. What is happening to me? Seriously. Okay, which brings me to my next point. I found this interesting picture which says, my wallet is like an onion. When I open it, it makes me cry. So when I'm standing in line and I pull out my card or I pull out my cash, it's empty after I buy my book. And I think other students have the same experience. The thing is, the problem is that when companies create these textbooks, they don't really do a complete overhaul. They're just minor adjustments to the book. And they sell them as new editions. Since they sell them as new editions, they can ramp up the price. So say if the book last year was $100, they'll make minor improvements to that book and probably sell it for like $30 more. And they'll be like, it's a new edition. The thing is, according to high textbook prices have college students struggling, it was an article by Ali Bidwell, and it was published on US News, says that the publishers are the problem. The thing is, there's no competition in the book market. So it's like a monopoly. So if there's one company that publishes all of the political science books, or there's one company that publishes all of the Com 150 books or Com 176 books, those are your books that you have to buy. The problem is they can sell them at any price they want to, which forces students to buy the books because they have no other choice. They can buy them used. If they buy them used, like for example for this class, you have to rip out pages like the evaluation forms and everything. If you buy those books used, then you don't have that paper. So how are you supposed to turn that in with your packets? So you're forced to buy a new book. And then the thing is, since there's no competition, prices for textbooks have increased 82% over the past 10 years. And the publishers, like I said, the publishers keep the textbooks cost high because they make minor improvements. And the thing is, it virtually eliminates the option for reselling books. So students have a hard time of reselling the books, since other students have to buy brand new ones. The thing is, according to Why Are College Textbooks Absurdly Expensive, published on The Atlantic by Jordan Wiseman, he compared healthcare, which sounds surprising, to the high cost of textbooks, and he said, I'm quoting him, "Just as doctors prescribe prescription drugs they'll never have to pay for, college professors often assign titles with little consideration to cost." The article said that students, like patients, worry about their health, don't have much choice to pay, lest they risk their grades. So if you don't pay for the book, you don't have the book. You don't have the book, you're going to struggle. If you struggle, most likely you're going to fail. And the thing is, I'm not blaming professors. It's just that the newer versions of the book entice professors more, because in their opinion, the more information that they added helps the student, when these previous versions of the book have just enough information to get through the course. They're enough to teach, and students can buy them at a cheaper price. And what does this cause? What is the cause of this? So going back to the article by Ali Bidwell, she wrote that students said that due to high costs, it affects actually how many classes they are taking so they can get around the financial burden. The thing is, a higher education is supposed to be equal for everybody, and I agree with that. But then if students are struggling to buy their books and they can't afford them, they're sitting in class and they're struggling. They're like, oh, I don't want to be here. I don't know what the teacher's talking about. How am I supposed to do the homework? How am I supposed to get through the test? I don't think that's an equal opportunity for all students. For a student that has a book, for a student that doesn't have a book. And I feel that it doesn't offer students equal education chances. Again, going back to the same article, it says 65% of students have not decided to purchase textbooks for class. Since students aren't purchasing textbooks, they're obviously struggling. And then this is affecting schools and their reputation. So if their students are failing and dropping out of classes, then it's going to make the school look bad. So now schools and educators are thinking about making online textbooks at a much more cost-effective price, or offering free textbooks, and working with authors to offer free online textbooks without any restrictions. And according to David Sheik and Mary Beth McClure, I don't know how to pronounce that, or I haven't switched this in a long time. Sorry. Okay. It says college textbooks say no to. It says the article was college students say no to costly textbooks. This article talks about how it was a survey done by the Book Industry Study Group, and says that 34% of students download course contents unauthorized and illegally. So I don't know what happens if they get caught. I don't know if I'm guessing they get kicked out of school, but it's gone up 14% from 2010. So in 2010 it was 20%. The problem is, since students can't afford these books, that's the only solution they have, and it's an unconventional solution. So they're putting their education on the line by downloading these illegal books, but they have no other choice. What are they going to do? Go up to the teacher and ask them to have their book for free? Now, it brings me to my solution. Oh, sorry. This is a graph that actually shows how much students spent annually on textbooks. In 2007, it was $700, because that's when the economy hit rock bottom, so book prices went up. But still, in 2014, it's $638. The average student is taking 3 courses. I talked to other students. So they're taking 3 courses. $638 is a lot of money for buying essentially what, 3 books and some pencils. So what is that? So what are you supposed to do? What are you doing with the rest of that money? You're not doing anything with it because it's going all to books. And I actually got this from Phil Hill from mfieldstein.com, and I'm sharing this graph with you. He had more graphs, but essentially they put the same information. Yeah, sorry. What else? Okay, so another solution is providing e-versions of every single book. You can cut the cost down, students will be more openly to buying them, and still, book companies will make money either way. They could buy like 2-3 e-versions for one version of a physical copybook. All of us and all other students have difficulty paying for textbooks and course materials, and due to the financial burden, it puts more pressure on us to succeed. I talked about the problems, I talked about the cause, I talked about the solution. Students attend college to further their education. But the problem is in high school, textbooks are free, but in college, they're not. So then, they cost a fortune, and it makes students worry more about trying to afford books than they should be focusing on their classes. And this is how every student should feel, but I don't feel like that. So, thank you guys. I know I went over, but not bad.